Hi, I'm Keith and welcome to my art studio, where today I had a happy accident. Seriously, I watched Bob Ross today, 2 episodes, to get in the mood to do some painting and do some instruction. And this guy here, my orc goblin guy, was a huge happy accident. What happened was I had my white paper and I put some dark on it to tone my paper, and it got way too dark. And I learned the hard way last time it wasn't going to work. So I thought, well, let's try something. I'll do a light white wash over the top of it. And it lit it up a bit, but I didn't know how it was going to turn out. So I said, let's just go for it. And I did. I did a sketch. I got a video right here of me doing it. Stay tuned. And when I was done, it turned out just fantastic. So then, knowing me, I got my pencils out and started coloring it. I wasn't going to do that, but I did it anyway. And the colors even look pretty good. So this guy was a huge, huge happy accident, and probably the best one I did today. This is my 3rd one of today. One thing I want to say real quick is my TikTok account is blowing up huge, and I just gained 3 subscribers on YouTube today alone. Something's happening. I think maybe finally things are turning around for me here. So if you could like and subscribe, go to TikTok or YouTube. Either way, this video will be on both, and you can watch the video. You guys ready? You want me to see me make this thing? 3, 2, 1, go.
Once upon a time, an orc rented a cabin in the woods with a witch and 2 trolls, splitting the rent. One day, there was a knock at the door. "Not again," the witch said, with a sigh. "I'm tired of being harassed by kids selling popcorn for a fundraiser for a trip across the sea. I've never been across the sea, and I don't know why I have to pay for someone else's trip." "Don't worry your pretty little head," the orc said, heading to the door. "I know how to deal with these popcorn salespeople." The orc opened the door, and to his amazement, instead of kids selling popcorn, the local sheriff stood, holding a sheet of paper. "What can I do for you, officer?" the orc asked, annoyed. "I have a summons for a Miss Esmeralda Huntington, who resides at this address," the sheriff replied, looking up at the giant orc straddling the doorway. "She's not home," the orc lied, covering for his cabin mate. "Don't bother trying to lie to cover for her," the sheriff said. "I saw her in the yard from the road as I approached." "Oh, you mean the witch?" the orc asked unconvincingly. "I didn't know her name." "Hey, Esmeralda, the cops are here for you," the orc yelled. "Tell them to leave, I'm not coming out," the witch yelled from the kitchen. "If she doesn't come out, we will go inside and serve her," the sheriff said, with his arms folded. Shaking his head and frustrated that he was in the middle of this, the orc yelled, "Get out here and talk to them. I don't want any trouble." The witch asked, "What do they want with me?" The sheriff replied with a smile, "Tell her she has a court date and the summons has all the details. I have to hand it to her in person." "Court date for what?" the orc asked. "I can't go into details with you. Just get her out here, now," the sheriff barked. "Esmeralda, get out here and talk to the sheriff. I don't want our neighbors seeing the cops on our porch and talking about us," the orc growled. "Oh heaven, what is it?" the witch said, pushing the orc aside. "What are you accusing me of now?" The sheriff handed the witch the summons, bowed his head, tipped his hat, and replied, "None of my business. My job is done. Have a nice day." Once upon a time, there lived a goblin who would sneak into town at night and kidnap children and hold them for ransom. The goblin made a good living stealing children until one day, when the goblin allegedly absconded with the child of the town mayor Aldous Greenheart. Aldous called an emergency council to form a posse tasked with recovering the mayor's child, arresting the goblin, and putting it on trial. Many of the townsfolk were upset that the mayor took so long to capture the goblin and only made an effort once his child's life was in peril. "My good mayor," Ms. Greenback said aloud at the meeting, "why have you waited so long to put an end to that disgusting goblin? Why is it that only when your child was taken did you decide to take action?" "What a silly question," the mayor replied. "I only care about my child. Your children mean nothing to me." The crowd at the meeting began to grumble at the mayor's response. Perth Silverhammer, the local baker, responded in a furious tone. "How dare you? Your child is no different than mine or anyone else's." "I beg to differ," Aldous replied. "My child is the child of the mayor."
Hi, I'm Keith and welcome to my art studio, where today I have on the canvas an orc, or a monster, or a goblin, or a ghoul. I don't know what he is. I went online, I found some good reference. This is not my design, but I made it my own. I wanted to try just some simple pencil sketching. I think one of the best things I do is sketching, and sometimes I go overboard. I did color it with some Prismacolor, and I'm not afraid of color. This is my green dragon. He's acrylic on canvas. And so when I want to go full color, I can go full color. But this guy, I just wanted to go pencil, real light coloring, and just make a really cool looking monster. Now, as you know, I have a video coming up right now. It's going to show you exactly how I did this. So please like and subscribe, and here's your video.
Once upon a time, in a land far away, lived an ogre who was tired of eating whatever he could find and wanted to go through a drive-thru and get some tasty burgers. The only problem was that he had no cash and no way to pay for his food. But he decided to try to bargain his way out instead and loaded up his ox with whatever items he could find. At the drive-thru, the ogre ordered 5 burgers and some fries and 2 drinks atop his ox. The voice over the speaker replied, "That will be $24.52. Pull up to the window, please." The ogre kicked his ox in the ribs and guided the huge beast to the window, where the clerk reached out her hand for a card to pay. "I don't have any cash," the ogre said, shaking his head. "Will you take this bag of bones in trade?" he asked. The drive-thru employee stood dumbfounded. "Are you serious?" the clerk asked. "My only other option is not to burn down this establishment and let you live to see another day," the ogre replied with a grin. "Let me talk to my manager," the clerk replied, looking at the long line behind the counter. "Do as you must, but I am very hungry and my ox needs to use the bathroom," the ogre said. Minutes passed, and the clerk appeared in the window. "You can just take the food and be on your way. We don't need your bag of bones. But my manager said you are not welcome to come back unless you have cash or a card to pay." "We'll see," the ogre replied, took his food, and he and the ox sauntered out of the drive-thru and onto the highway back home. Once upon a time, there lived a goblin who would sneak into town at night and kidnap children and hold them for ransom. The goblin made a good living stealing children until one day, when the goblin allegedly absconded with the child of the town mayor, Aldous Greenheart. Aldous called an emergency council to form a posse tasked with recovering the mayor's child, arresting the goblin, and putting it on trial. Many of the townsfolk were upset that the mayor took so long to capture the goblin and only made an effort once his child's life was in peril. "My good mayor," Ms. Greenback said aloud at the meeting, "why have you waited so long to put an end to that disgusting goblin? Why is it that only when your child was taken did you decide to take action?" "What a silly question," the mayor replied. "I only care about my child. Your children mean nothing to me." The crowd at the meeting began to grumble at the mayor's response. Perth Silverhammer, the local baker, responded in a furious tone. "How dare you? Your child is no different than mine or anyone else's." "I beg to differ," Aldous replied. "My child is the child of the mayor, me to be more specific, and thanks to all of you I have the power to do something about the goblin." Perth replied, "I almost went broke paying the ransom for my 3 children. What would you have done if I were to go out of business?" "Bakers are a dime a dozen," Aldous replied. "Now be quiet or be on your way. I have business to attend to." The crowd now became angry when they heard a voice they had never heard before, the voice of the goblin itself. "You do not need to arrest me. I have committed no crime. I did not take your child, Mayor. You need to look elsewhere for someone to blame." "If not you, then who?" the mayor asked. "That is for you to find out. I must be on my way." "Good day, sir," the goblin replied, and left to go back into the woods.